Hey, Donald Trump got indicted, so let's talk about it. Yesterday, Donald Trump was indicted by the Manhattan District Grand Jury. This is related to a case that dates back way to his first presidential election in 2016, which involved a hush money payment to an adult film star, Stormy Daniels, as a result of Donald Trump having an affair with her. Now listen, I'm not Mr. Politics over here. I just am trying to read up and learn about this morning, so I'm going to deliver the news to you as best as I can. But if I make any mistakes or you have any comments or any thoughts on today's story, leave a comment down in the comments down below, or you can email me at nickisnotgreenmerch@gmail.com to let me know what stories and topics you want me to cover, or if you just want to say hi, maybe I'll email you back. So today we're going to talk about the potential crimes he did commit, what's going to happen next, and what all of this means for Trump's third run of the presidency. Okay, there's a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Way back when, Trump had an affair with an adult film star, and he had his lawyer pay her off so she wouldn't say anything about it for the election. Trump also paid his lawyer as a reimbursement for it. Now, a lot of people are saying that the hush money was campaign money from 2016. I don't think that has been verifiably proven. I'm pretty sure it was his own money, but that does not make him innocent at all, and that's not what he's getting charged with. Now, as the Manhattan grand jury got closer to whether or not they were going to decide an indictment, it seemed like over the past few days it was becoming more and more likely. Of course, Trump denied any of this actually happening at all, but according to court filings and Michael Cohen's own federal prosecution, the Trump Organization executives authorized payments to him totaling $420,000 to cover Cohen's original $130,000 payment, which was paid off to Stormy Daniels to get her to not talk about the affair at all. That's a lot of money to try to pretend never happened. So let's see where that took him. So the Manhattan District Attorney has been working on this case since Trump was even running for president. So it's been about 7 years now. And now Donald Trump is running for the third time. And even though he has never gotten the popular vote of the Americans, maybe now that he's officially being charged as a criminal, I don't know, maybe he could win us all over. Maybe we're suddenly going to give him the popular vote this time. Now, surprisingly enough, hush money payments in this country are not illegal. You can pay someone to shut up. So as of right now, Trump has, I think, 34 different counts related to business fraud in this indictment, but these are still under seal, so they are not public. We don't know exactly what he's being charged for yet, but with the information we have, it seems like they may be charging him for falsifying business records because the money that he paid off to Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels, he wrote under a legal expense. And if you don't list it correctly under your taxes because you're not trying to draw any attention to it, then that can get you in big trouble, especially as he's running to have the most powerful position in the world. Now, as I was saying, they might get him for falsifying business records. They might get him for falsifying a record with the intent to commit another crime or to aid and conceal another crime. This seems to make the most sense because falsifying business records would be a misdemeanor in New York. Now, let's take a look at what Trump is saying about all of this. Of course, he has a sponsored post on Truth Social that says, "I need your help. The New York Times grand jury votes to indict Donald Trump in New York to defend our movement from the never-ending witch hunts and win the White House in 2024. Contribute." So even though he's being charged with a misdemeanor for falsifying business records, he is still going to take advantage of that to make even more money for his next campaign run by asking people for more money. But I actually took a little trip over to Truth Social of my own to check out what Trump's saying, and there's some really interesting things. Like, this is a sponsored post on Trump's account that says "Free Trump 2024 Gold Bar, grab yours today." And of course, I'm getting a warning from AdBlock. Hurry up! These gold bars are moving fast. Get your free Donald commemorative $100 gold bar now. Is that him? Is that his little face right there? That's cute. One of my favorite things that I saw Trump post about an hour ago is this like fan cam of him that the GOP made for their Twitter. He never backed down for you. Not 1 minute. Look at him, he never backed down, he didn't. Yeah, look at him talking to people and shaking his fist and walking and shaking his fist and walking.
Penny.
No.
What am I...
No, it hasn't.
What is going on? Why am I watching like a podcast all of a sudden? A podcast with 10 people. As you can see on Truth Social, Trump seems to like really be on that app a lot. 44 minutes ago, 57 minutes ago, hour ago. If I scroll all the way down here, this was just 9 hours ago. If I scroll all the way, come on, pull it down. This was 9 hours ago.
And now Democrats will have the most famous photo of all time in their arsenal.
So yeah, let's actually talk about this. Will there be a mugshot of Trump? So Trump actually put this statement out yesterday around 3 p.m. I believe this witch hunt will backfire massively on Joe Biden. That's a good Trump impression, you know? I feel like that's what he kind of sounds like. So yeah, of course we got the classic, like, we'll defeat Joe Biden, we're going to throw all the crooked Democrats out of office, we're going to make America great again. Just a classic statement from the D-man himself. Okay, so what happens now? Well, according to his defense team, he's expected to go to court on Tuesday, and a lot of people want to know, what's that going to mean? Is he go straight to jail? Is he going to be in court? Yada, yada, yada. Well, usually for a first appearance after an indictment, the defendants would be booked, fingerprinted, I think mugshotted as well, but I haven't had like any confirmation that we will get a mugshot. And if there is a mugshot, it will be a very big deal because that photo will be widely used in the next election against Donald Trump. If you lose 2 popular elections in a row, can you possibly have more than 50% of America voting for you if you have your mugshot across the entire country for everybody to see? Of course, there's a lot of crazy Trump fans out there, but a lot of people who voted for him in the last election weren't the normal crazy Trump people you'd see. I mean, having even 40% of people vote for you is a huge amount of people. There are a lot of normies in there that really don't care about their vote, and if they see a mugshot, that might be it for them. Now, obviously, because we're talking about someone who is a former president who is currently running for president right now, there's going to be a lot of major differences compared to a normal indictment with a normal defendant. This case really isn't that normal. This is the first time in American history that any current or former president has faced criminal charges at all. But does this mean that Donald Trump can still run for office? Of course it can, because in this country you can do really whatever you want and still be the leader of the free world. So Tuesday is going to be a really interesting day to see what ends up playing out. This could be the time that we see the lawyers for both sides of the case show up in the court proceedings, and I'm sure there's a lot of other boring law stuff that someone could explain in the comments, because that's not my expertise. I don't know what an arraignment is. I don't know what the plea is. I don't even know what the indictment is. Why am I delivering news to you? I don't know anything. Don't listen to me. But of course, as anything is in American politics, if things change every single day, like a million things happen. So by Tuesday, the story could be completely different. But of course, let's see what people online are saying, because that's really all that matters, right?
So this is not even about forget the federal government, because guess what? They just indicted Trump in a local area. So the equivalent is this. Okay, you indict Donald Trump in Manhattan, we indict Bill Clinton in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Figure it out.
So that's a clip from Charlie Kirk, famous for having a face that's too small for his head. And he basically said, if you can indict Trump in Manhattan, we can go to any local DA and indict someone else, like Bill Clinton. And of course, as Jordan says here in this tweet, and as a lot of people on the left are saying, okay, go ahead and do it. I would love for that to happen. Republicans tend to forget that a large base of Democratic voters are also not big fans of the Democrats. The goal at the end of this is to always hold people in power accountable for their actions. And if it's Trump or if it's Clinton or if it's Biden, I don't care. Just do it. Just because the Trump thing happened doesn't mean we still have thousands of people that are associated with our government that are also criminals. I'm glad to see Donald Trump indicted. I would be glad to see Bill Clinton indicted. I'd be glad to see Hillary or Joe Biden or Obama indicted. These people all did bad things and should be held accountable for their crimes. It's a good thing that it's starting with Trump, but there's a lot more to be done in order to erase a lot of the corruption in the White House. This should not be a win for Democrats in the government, because a lot of them are doing things that are just as bad as the Republicans, but they're just doing it in a way that is presented a little nicer to you. We've got another tweet from Donald Trump's niece, Mary L. Trump, who says, it's official, Donald Trump's the first man in the Oval Office to be impeached twice, first man in the Oval Office to incite an erection. First man in the Oval Office to incite an erection. I did not mean to say that. First man in the Oval Office to incite an insurrection, first to lose the popular vote twice, and now the first to be indicted. And whenever liberals get excited for something bad that happens to Trump, you just gotta celebrate with them, I guess, you know? They're a little bit too excited about it, you know? Like, there's still a lot of corruption to face in the White House, and it's not like, oh, now that Donald Trump is indicted, that means that, like, racism is gone, and everything's okay, everything's normal again. And of course, in this situation, if Donald Trump ends up in a position where he's not running for president anymore, someone just as bad is gonna fill his spot. And that person could become president and do the same exact things that Trump did while he was in the presidency, but at least he's not like tweeting a lot and being mean in the debates. But for now, we celebrate with the libs because they do stuff like this, the Trump indicted celebration walk. I mean, come on, guys. Don't you guys all want to do one of these? Here's another one right here. You bartender at my fave bar last night. I don't think I've ever seen you eat this much. Oh, and it's just this lady, like happily eating her dinner because of how happy she is about the indictment. This is great. And she's got a Wonder Woman punching Donald Trump in the face shirt. This is what liberalism's all about, okay? You know, you just take the wins you can get. Be happy that, you know, we toppled down the big man and we'll eat tonight. Of course, I don't know if any of you guys know the GOAT, Jeff Tiedrick. The whole time I was in high school and college, this guy was like the biggest Donald Trump reply guy. Every single tweet about Trump, you'd see this guy under it. Classic Jeff Tiedrick. He's the guy who would be like, sir, this is a Wendy's drive-thru. Excuse me, this is a Wendy's drive-thru. But listen, everyone's got to push up Jeff today because he's been like the lib of the year for like years now. And, you know, now he's finally getting his due diligence. Did I say that right? What does that mean? Take your victory lap, bud. You played the long game. Jeff Tiedrick is experiencing euphoria unreachable even by the strongest ketamine. This is a Wendy's drive-thru. Let's go. This is a Wendy's drive-thru. Yes, it is. And finally, I have a great lib meme right here. Stormy's revenge. Trump indicted. Now this is what I call America first. Yeah. Get him. And of course, even more fun to watch is the right-winger response to this. Trump 2024 no matter what says libs going to sleep again without a Trump indictment. Of course, this was tweeted on March 22nd before the indictment was official, but we've got the classic feminist screaming with Donald Trump tucking her in. It doesn't get better than that. And then you scroll down here and of course Insider Paper on March 28th tweeted, no Trump Manhattan grand jury indictment vote expected this week. Trump 2024 says LOL. And then of course the indictment comes and then next thing you know, if Republican AGs don't start charging high-level Democrats with the many crimes they get away with daily, justice is truly dead. I won't hold my breath. And on one hand, besides the fact that these people are pretty bigoted Trump lovers, I do agree that we need to be using this as an example for what other politicians do in the White House regardless of their party affiliation. I think we can all agree that we're not huge fans of any of the presidents we've had in the past few decades, and we shouldn't just use Trump as the only example just because he's outwardly as bigoted and crass as he is. I think charging Trump with like falsified business expenses is better than like doing drone strikes in the Middle East and killing kids. And that's not a call out on any specific president. That's a call out on all of them because they all do it. Being a warmonger is always going to be worse than like transferring hundreds of thousands of dollars to people because you're trying to cover up that you like cheated on your wife or whatever. I think in this case, I actually care more about real people dying as a result of actual war that these presidents incited and decided to fight in. So I'm happy that he got indicted, but on the other hand, I feel like we're not going to set the right example on the other side of this because we're not charging him with things that a lot of politicians can even get charged with. Trump did a very specific thing to cover up some very shady shit when he was starting to run for president, and now it's catching up to him, but he did a lot of worse shit during his actual presidency. So if he gets locked up, I'm happy either way, but I don't know if this is the right way to do it. I think we got to actually challenge the status quo of what presidents are allowed to do and stop them from being able to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to say that I'm not excited that he's indicted. I'm excited to see if the mugshot's going to come out on Tuesday. I'm excited to see if he's going to show up in court. But before we round out this video, let's see what some of the Fox News hosts have to say about the breaking news that this happened.
And I feel bad for the guy. He didn't even really have to be president. He had a lot of money. He had a great... And now they're trying to nickel and dime him for a private agreement he made with a woman. What? 8 years ago?
Trying to nickel and dime him, aka they're trying to put him in prison. I guess that's nickel and diming him.
It has nothing to do with politics?
It had nothing to do with politics also. The reason that he gave her hush money right as he was running for president it had nothing to do with politics. None of this had anything to do with politics. Just because he didn't use campaign funds to pay her off doesn't mean that it's absolved of being political at all. Oh God.
OG.
Oh, it's this guy.
His poll numbers have gone up with this.
Dude, Greg Gutfeld is like such a loser. Why is he the only one sitting on the desk with all this shit in front of him? Anyways, I hope I covered the story in a way that wasn't confusing. I tried to do it in a way that wasn't boring, because I usually get bored when I talk about like law shit. I don't like the law. It's so boring. But if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Remember to email me if you have any thoughts for topics or stories I should cover, or if you just want to say hi, you should go to my social media at NickIsNotGreen on Twitter and Instagram. Sometimes I will reply to you. And I think that's it. My podcast comes back on Sunday. I haven't announced it yet, but I'll announce it here. Go subscribe to the Fellowship Covenant podcast. We have a very special guest on this Sunday, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be interesting. All right, that's it, everybody. Stay safe. Have a good one. Bye-bye.